Okay, video number 2 at a little intro to RStudio. This particular time, what we're going to do is just run through a little bit of code and see what RStudio kind of shows you as you're working through a data set. So I have some code up here, and I want to go through these pieces of code kind of line by line, but first what I'm going to do is just show you how to run code. Right? So I've got a script where I've got tons of code written. The advantage to writing a script is you don't have to run line by line. You can actually just write all your code, run it piece by piece, run the whole thing all together, save it, use it later. Running from a script is the preferable way to write your code, of course. Okay, first 2 lines. The remove list is to remove anything from working memory. I'm just pressing Control-Enter on each line. It runs one line only if I do Control-Enter. Graphics off turns all of your plots off. In other words, clears all your old plots. For those of you familiar with MATLAB, this is like the clear and CLF commands. Now the library commands, these 2 guys, pull in packages or other R code from other places. The beauty of R is that it's open source, so people can write packages, people can build code that you might want to use. We're going to use a lot of these packages. So I'm pulling in 2, and instead of running those one line at a time, I'm going to highlight them both just by using Shift and the arrow keys. Control-Enter, and it runs both of them. Okay, then I'm going to pull in my data, which I showed you this before. I've got a read CSV that pulls in my Tour de France data from the previous video. See, we can look at what the Tour de France data looks like. I can click on it, get a preview of the Tour de France data. And then don't worry about any of this code. We'll go through how to do this code later. I want to run it and just make a few plots and kind of see what it does. So notice a couple things. That when I run this code, down here in the console, down there in the console, all of the code was echoed back to you, which is sometimes kind of annoying, so you can Control-L to clear that, but it just shows you what it is that you ran. Also, I created a bunch of plots, so down here I get plots. Now notice these arrow keys. I can press the arrows and cycle through the 2 plots that I made. If those are not big enough, I can zoom in on them. I can make these dudes big, take up a whole big chunk of the screen. Right, so now I can actually look at this plot. This is the Tour de France winners by country. Fun little plot. Sure, why not? Right, I can zoom in on this guy. I can make it full screen, and now I'm part of the plot. That's kind of fun. So there's some nice features there. You can also export the plot if you want to. Save it as an image, a PDF. Save it to your clipboard so you can paste it somewhere. All the sorts of things you can do there. Notice also that I've got files here. I'm working in an R project. So here's all the files that I have. And this script, I'm just going to do a save as on this script. It automatically puts me in that same folder. I'm going to give this a meaningful name, save it, and it actually populates the project with that extra file. So now if I come back into this project, I can click around and start looking at, let's see, if I want to look at the contents, it takes me there. If I want to go to my example code, it takes me here. Our projects allow you for good organization. Our scripts allow you to run big blocks of code very quickly. The Control-Enter keyboard shortcut allows you to run the code. And remember, if you don't know the keyboard shortcuts, tools and keyboard shortcuts, and you can see them all.